Hi everyone, Kaki here, and you're watching Kaki Aquatics. So, in today's video, as I told you in the previous video, I have to talk to you about what happened to my flowerhorn/parrot cichlid hybrid that you had seen in not my previous video, but the one before that, the one what I did in my water change. I will try to put like no.
Time go, I'm carrying a time bomb. I don't want it to blow. I don't want it to blow.
So what happened to that fish? It's actually quite a long story. I only have one clip in my phone because it was kind of a difficult situation, and I didn't have that instinct, that YouTuber instinct of taking the camera and just starting to record everything. But basically what happened was that one day he was alright, he was eating fine. I never showed that on video, and now I will not show never. I will never show you how he fed, but he fed. Every time I threw him food, he ate it like a champion. He ate so good for me, and it was basically the perfect fish. He was not difficult at all with water changes and water parameters and things like that. As I said, he ate like a champion. He was such a personal fish. He followed me everywhere. He was amazing. In the single second that I had him and I owned him, he was 5 stars. I didn't have any problems with him until like a month ago, where I woke up and he was basically turned with the belly up and his face turning down. At that time I thought he was dead, but when I took a closer look at him, I saw that in fact he was alive. He was moving a little bit, and immediately I thought that it was a swim bladder issue. For those not familiar with swim bladder, it's the organ that makes fish float in the water. That's how they can go up in the water column and go down in the water column, and it's basically that. And it's a very important organ for a fish to have a normal life and to live as a fish is supposed to do. But yeah, he was turned upside down, and it was bad. In that case, I had a couple of options of what it could have been that made him have a swim bladder problem, but the two most probable things, and I'm really sure it was one of them. One of them is he had an infection, but I have some things that make this theory don't be true. Because I have other cichlids in the same tank, and if it was an infection, my other cichlids would have been affected by this kind of infection or parasite or something like that. And no, it's been 1 month now since this all started, and all the fish that I have in my fish tank are perfectly fine. They eat perfectly fine, they do everything perfectly fine, and it's nothing there's nothing problematic about them. And yeah, that's the first theory. The second theory is that simply he, as you saw in my water change video, The tank was divided into one part for my blue Texas and one part for my cichlid that is called João, for those who don't know. But yeah, he was in one of the spaces in the tank, and he didn't have anything like decorations or things like that, because he didn't need them anytime. He was not a fish that hid. He was a normal fish that swim in open water and was there to say me hi every morning when I was there to feed him. So my theory is that in any kind of situation that I don't have a way of explaining, he must have hit one of the walls of the tank really hard, or maybe the filter, because the filter was there too, and he could have hit one of the walls or something like that, and that caused his saline boiler to get hurt, and he was hurted, and his swim bladder was bad, and he was not eating. He wasn't doing fine. So my first action to try to resolve this problem is taking out of the fish tank that he was in and put him in a hospital tank, because that way I could monitor him way better. I could treat him for parasites if it was the case. Try to force feed him, and I know this sounds bad, but in this kind of situations it's one of the best things that you can do. But yeah, force feed him, so if it was like he heated any of the walls of the tank, then he will have time to get better and maybe recover fully. But yeah, I put him in a hospital tank, and I just let him sit there. I had the water, I have the filter pre-cycled because I have tons of media that I can use in this kind of situations, and I had him there, and he passed lots of phases in the process of trying to heal. And yeah, I turned the heat up. That is a thing that you should do when your fish is showing any signs of disease, because it helps him kill the bacteria or parasites or anything. Yeah, I turned the heat up, and I waited. I waited like 4 days, and in those 4 days nothing happened. He just still breath. He was moving his fins, but he was still upside down. And I even tried to make him a wheelchair for fish. I don't know if you're familiarized with that, but I will try to put a photo here of something like that so you can see. But yeah, I had him there. I tried to make him a wheelchair, but for that type of fish it's really difficult, and I wasn't successful in my test. So when that happened, I turned into another option, which was, if it was some type of infection, I will try to fight it. And I started force feeding him and food that is actually an antibiotic that would help him if it was any type of infection or something like that. And when I did that, it actually worked kind of a bit. He didn't start turning the way he's supposed to be, but he got better, and he got more energy on him, and he was starting to look better. his color started coming back, but he would still be turned upside down, and that was stressful for him. He was very static for the type of fish that he is supposed to be. And in the end, I keep trying force feeding him the antibiotics like a week, and I'll try to put here a video of me force feeding him, which is one of the few videos that I have of all this process.
Time for the girl that got away, 2 times for the bub I'm about to spray, 3 times for the power that I pray to. Are you up there? Can you hear me? I know I fucked up, it's clear, see. I'm 22 but I don't act like it clearly. And all this shit is a mirage. I'm just rapping for a cause, the life, the fame, the lights, the game. We break the laws, don't like to change. Wanna win you back but I hate to lose. I know that you're the one but it's hard to choose.
He started eating, he was getting better, but he wouldn't float like he was supposed to do, and he wouldn't get in the right position. So we were fighting this for like 3 weeks. In the beginning of the video I said that it was like 1 month ago. It's more like a month and a half or 2 months ago that this all started. But yeah, the process was long. It was extenuating for the fish and for me, because it was my favorite fish, and I couldn't support seeing him in all that situation, basically, because it was difficult. It was very, very difficult. So after maybe 4 weeks of trying different treatments and things like that, I had to make a decision, because my fish had already suffered too much and he wouldn't get better. So that was when I decided to euthanize him. Now this may sound strange or bad for you, because most of my fan base, I'm saying fan base, but this may sound awkward or strange for people like you that doesn't know a lot about fish tanks, but euthanize a fish, it's not bad. It's just an act that you do when you have no option left. So there was a ton of options that I could follow for euthanizing my fish, and I think I chose the best one, considering all the characteristics of my state and the place where I live and everything. So I decided to not kill him, but euthanize him by taking him out of the water and waiting. Now this may sound like really, really bad, but the other options were putting him in a plastic bag with water and put him in a freezer, which will supposedly make him cool down until he went to sleep, and then he will die. But I never thought of that option, and I don't think it's the right option, because he's a tropical fish, and I think it will be very, very, very painful for him to simply start getting cold and colder and colder and colder until he died. The other option that I had was like normal persons do with fish they wanna eat. It's basically cutting down his brain, and I don't know if you're familiarized with cichlids, but even my cichlid that it didn't have such a big nuncle hump, which is the pronunciation on their heads, even for him, he had something. He has a little nuncle hump, and to eat him in the brain with a knife or a hammer or something like that, it would be very difficult. And this is also because fish like him are not studied, because he's a hybrid, and we don't have any type of scheme or things like that we can follow to hit him without any suffering because of that. So there wasn't an option either, because I couldn't do it. I'm not prepared to do that, and it would be simply a fail and I would hurt the fish, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, another option will be killing him by adding alcohol in the water. Again, this is like all the previous options. I think it would be too painful for the fish, and I don't feel capable of doing that to an animal. The last option is the best for you that live in the United States, but not for me. And the option is using coal foil. I don't know if you are familiarized with that, but it's basically a chemical that it's used for consume in normal people, because it has vitamins and things like that, but it's actually an anesthetic to fish. And basically I would add that to the water, and the fish would go to sleep, and eventually he will die. Why didn't I do that? That's the most human way of euthanizing the fish. But I'm Portuguese and we don't have clove oil, and I looked for it. I looked in lots of places and I didn't find any. So unfortunately I couldn't do that, and it was such a bad thing, because even the option that I chose, I tried to make it the less painful possible, but there's some things that you can control. So my most precious fish, my 80 bucks AAA grade Florence/Parrot cichlid hybrid, died for being out of the water, not being able to breathe, but I had him humid because I put him in like a towel, wet towel that he would feel comfortable in, and I also had him in the dark. If you don't know, fish actually go to sleep when they are in the dark. Lots of animals do that. They simply calm down, and I think it was the best way of doing that. So yeah, my fish is gone now, and I think I euthanized him in the best way possible, in the conditions I had, and yeah, that's it. Now, what have I done to the body? Some fish keepers would try to bury the bodies of their fish in like their gardens or something like that, but I live in a city and I don't have that type of resources. So what I ended up doing was putting the body in alcohol and keeping his memory alive with it. He's right here. For those that are more sensitive, don't look at this part. When I advise you it's good to look, you may look again, but right now it's not the option for you. But yeah, here it is. He's in alcohol, and I tried keeping him as best as I could. You can, for those sensitive ones, you can open it. And yeah, now on that note, what I want to tell you is you are free to do whatever you want in my videos. You can go to the comments and say that I'm a bad fish keeper or something, and maybe this was my fault, or maybe this was simply something that happened. But you're free to do whatever you want. If you want to call me a bad fish keeper or something like that, go ahead, you're free to do it. It doesn't matter, because I'm trying to do my best here, and I know I did my best for him. I treated him with everything I got, and I wouldn't do it any other way. But now what I want to address here, it's a thing that's actually really important in fish keeping. That is the category of my fish. Because João wasn't a normal fish, it was a short-bodied one. What I mean with that, it's that João had a much compacted body than normal fish would do, or normal fish like him, I mean similar fish to him, but normal would have. That is an elongated body where all their organs would be in the right place. Short body fish are a really big thing in the hobby, and when they exist, the organs don't go smaller, they just are compacted in a smaller space. And this also provokes that the fish don't live the normal lifespan that a fish of their type would live. For example, a short-bodied ram cichlid, I will try to put a photo of one here. Ram cichlids don't live the 5-year lifespan, short-body ones don't live the 5 years lifespan that they are supposed to live. They will live much less time. They will live like, I don't know, maybe 2 years? Maybe, I don't know. And João was that kind of fish. Short-bodied fish tend to live less, and João already got to my hands being like 1 year old, and he lived with me 6 months. So a year and a half for a short-bodied fish like him, with tons of genetic modifications and hybridation, it's not that bad, believe me. You can go search this, you will see that normal short-bodied fish live much less time. You can even go watch the King of DIY that had Frank, that was a flower horn. Frank didn't live more than 2 years either. He lived a year and a half, I think. So I feel honored for having kept João. He was the perfect fish, but he went too soon, and maybe maybe it was my fault, but I will always carry his memory because he was very special to me. And maybe I will have another fish like him, but like it happened to the King of DIY, it happened to me, and I'm not going to have another short-bodied fish again. I don't feel it's correct. And now that I had this experience, I don't want to go through it again. I want a fish that has a normal body, that will live a normal life with no problems. And yeah, that's it. He's gone. Now I have my blue Texas, and if you stay tuned for the next video, you will see that I'm getting new fish. These new fish will not replace him at all. He will never be replaced. He was my first fish, my first like expensive fish, and I don't like to talk about him in money terms, but it's true. He was a very expensive fish, but mostly he was part of my hobby, and he was really important for me, and he was amazing. So yeah, I don't know if any person will see this video till the end, but there's nothing more to talk about in this subject. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed. You don't have to. This is just a moment, a history time maybe. Let's call it that, because it's nicer that way. But yeah, this was a moment where I opened up to you, and I hope you learned something from this. So yeah, if you wanna see better content than this, because this video will look awful when I finish editing him and posting it, and when I post it, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see better videos than this, and you are basically free to do whatever you want, so go to the comments and say whatever you think about this situation. I hope you enjoyed, and that's it. Bye.
Yeah, this music here became my only lifeline.